what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped, back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, I'm going to chat about verse units, as this unit here, Ace or verse Akainu, has just dropped on the Japanese side of the game, and the very anticipated Kaido verse Big Mom is almost out on OPTC Global. So I don't normally do videos like this. I tend to leave these for the goats like Flame and Tozy and stuff like that. But I have had a lot of people asking me on my Discord and asking me in comment sections, like, should I say for Kaido Big Mom? And then, like, what do you feel about Ace and Akainu? And we finally just got information on what Akainu and Ace do, and they are very, very good. But today I just really want to have a chat about the two units and about verse units in general. So if you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, head down there, hit the like button, show the video some love, and if you guys are into this sort of stuff, I'll make more moving forward. Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on verse units as well, and if you guys would like for me to keep making these videos. So like I mentioned, we are going to be talking about the whole verse mechanic and what the units themselves actually do, as well as the whole concept to do with verse units. So before we actually go and let me rant about my opinions on them, before I do begin, this is just my opinion as well, by the way. This is not the be-all or end-all, like, you guys don't need to take this as law or anything like that. I just wanted to just sort of put my 2 cents forward about verse units and the direction that they can be going in moving forward in the future of OPTC, you know. So let's have a look. Let's go over to the database and let's have a chat about Kaido vs Big Mom. So Kaido vs Big Mom is already out on OPTC Japan and is arguably the best unit in the game. Now, if you guys said that this unit was the best unit in the game, or Roger's the best unit in the game, or Luffy Sanji's the best unit in the game, I cannot disagree with you in any way, shape, or form. But I do believe that this is the strongest character on both versions of the game. Whether that makes them the best unit or not, that's up to you guys. But the big upside to these verse units is that you actually summon for 2 separate units. They're 2 very different units that do very different things, so you're technically summoning for 2 units in one. Now, not only do they have amazing captain multipliers, not only are they amazing units, but they also have this verse mechanic. So let's have a chat about what Kaido vs Big Mom actually does. So Kaido vs Big Mom, they are powerhouse driven. I think both of them are actually powerhouse driven. Yeah, both of them powerhouse driven. One of them is strength in, and then the other one is psi in or something like that, I think. Let me just quickly check that. Strength and in. So Kaido is strength and Big Mom is int. And the stats obviously very, very high for Sugo Fest exclusives. They've got almost 2,000 attack with without cotton candy. So, oh sorry, is that with cotton candy? No, it's with the limit break. Yeah, so with Limit Break, they have Limit Break plus they have 2150, so then you add another 200 on top of that. So they've almost got 2500 attack, which is very, very good. With Cotton Candy, you can obviously get that very, very high. So their captain ability. So character 1, I think, is Kaido. So reduces the cooldown of all specials by 2 turns at the start of the fight. Very, very strong. Boosts attack of strength, dex, and in characters by 5 times. That's just 5 times is absurd. And their HP by 1.3, and then cuts the enemy's HP by 20% at the start of each turn, very similar to his V1 counterpart. And then boosts the chance of landing on T&D orbs, and makes them beneficial for all characters. So that's Kaido's captain ability. Big Mom's captain ability is very similar. She's a strength, psi, and int booster, so she doesn't boost dex, but she does boost psi. So you can run, obviously, Big Mom and Kaido together and just run a strength in team. She's also a 5 times multiplier with a 1.5 times HP boost. She boosts the chance of getting recovery orbs, however, and makes recovery and Selma orbs beneficial for all characters. And perfects will consume recovery and Selma orbs. That line there is insanely broken. So obviously, you want to be running Kaido for speed content, and then you want to be running Big Mom mainly for those longer pieces of content. But being able to like eat meat orbs with perfects is just so damn strong. Both of them can't be blown away, and they obviously make T&D recovery Selma beneficial for strength int characters. So pretty strong sailor abilities. Not being able to blow away makes them very good as a sub, and then obviously matching all of your entire for strength and int characters is very good as well. So the special, the Beast Blow and the Soul Rendering Blow. So the Beast Blow is Kaido's special. He cuts the HP of all enemies by 20% that will ignore all negating abilities and barriers. Unfortunately, that is not normal attacks only, though. Changes block and recovery orbs into T&D orbs, and then boost the attack of strength, dex, and int characters by 2.25 for 1 turn. And then if you hit 3 perfects, he's amplifying the orbs of the same colors by 2.5 for the following turn. So, as you guys can see here, the way that you want to work with them is basically you can get a full board of orbs, you get an attack boost with one, carry it into the next room, orb boost, and then use the other one to get another full board of orbs, get the attack and the orb boost. Very, very strong. Very, very strong special. Being an orb booster and an attack booster for your team, just absurdly strong. But for Big Mom, she cuts all the HP by 20%, that it will ignore negating abilities and barriers as well. She also changes block and T&D orbs this time into recovery orbs. So, as you can see, Big Mom's built around recovery orbs, Kaido's built around T&D orbs. She boosts the attack of strength, dex, and strength, psi, and int characters by 2.25, and then if you hit perfects, she amplifies the effects. They have basically the exact same special, but obviously psi is included for Big Mom, dex is included for Kaido, and then Big Mom's built around recovery orbs, where Kaido's built around T&D orbs. So you guys can kind of see like why that's, or how they sort of work. So with Limit Break expansion, they go down to 13 turn cooldown. For what they do is just incredibly strong. And then they have this verse ability. So to get the verse ability active, you need to do a certain condition. So for their condition, you need to consume at least 10 T&D, recovery, or Selma orbs with normal attacks. Pretty simple, right? As Kaido makes T&D orbs appear more frequently, Big Mom makes recovery more frequently, so it's very easy to get their verse ability. Now, as Kaido, his verse ability, they have 2 separate verse abilities, which is just insane. Like, technically this character has 4 specials, and it's what makes verse characters so overpowered, is this mechanic here. But I'm going to chat about that before we get into Akainu and Ace. Basically, what Kaido does is his verse mechanic is he deals 500 times his attack in typeless damage to all enemy at the end of the turn, and deals 3 times the damage dealt by this character in normal attacks to the enemy with the highest current HP for 3 turns. So he just basically just free damage. Just butt tons of free damage. Now, if you proc this when you have the 2.25 orbs and the 2.25 attack and 2.5 orbs, you are doing so much goddamn damage that literally nothing stands in your way except for normal attacks only. Kaido obviously gets cucked by that, and honestly, if normal attacks didn't exist, this character would just be hands down the best character in the game, without a question. For Big Mom, her versatility, she is going to make normal attacks ignore damage reducing barriers, buffs, and defenses for 3 turns, changes recovery and Selma orbs, recovery into Selma orbs for 3 turns, and then recovers HP proportional to the number of enemies defeated in that turn, times 15 her character's recovery at the end of it. So basically she just heals. So very similar to her soul mechanic, she just eats, she just gobbles up their souls, and she just eats them. So she gets those Selma orbs too, the Selma orbs obviously being like rainbow or Wano orbs, where you actually can't remove them. I would have loved for them to do like a Wano orb mechanic with Kaido, but I mean, I know that's asking too much, as he already is like the best unit in the game. They have Enrage and Reducing Damage Taken as their potential abilities, and they have Slot Bind removal as well. So they are, and then they have Critical Hit as well. So they're very, very strong. Like I said, they are arguably one of the best characters in the entire game. Or the best character in the game. They're definitely one of the best characters in the game. They have very good rumble abilities as well. I'm not going to touch on that too much. That's sort of like for another video. But basically, that's Kaido vs Big Mom in a nutshell. Now, as you guys can kind of tell, like, these units are insane. Like, they're incredibly strong in the sense of not only do they have insanely high captain multipliers, they have built-in matching orbs that increase the chance of landing on them, and then they have an insanely strong special that you can proc for 2 turns, and they have their verse mechanics. So like I said, ideally they've technically got like 4 specials in one unit, and just depending on the content is depending on what you want to bring. Now, before I talk about Akainu and versus Ace, I do want to talk a little bit more about the state of verse units. And are they a good thing for the game? Are they a bad thing? Now, the short answer is they are a good thing. They're straight up, they're good for the game. It opens a lot of different avenues. It opens a lot of different, opens a lot of different options for them to do character design. Like, think about how many good fights there are in One Piece, and it basically opens up every single fight to these units. So you've got stuff like Luffy vs Lucci, you've got Ace vs Blackbeard, Whitebeard vs Shanks. You could even do, if you guys are up to date with the anime, you could even throw in young Whitebeard vs Odin. You know, like, there is so much that they can do, and with that extra verse mechanic, adding a new special, it is incredibly strong. Very similar to super typings, where you got to get a certain condition, but it makes the game more interactive to play. Very similar to when Tankman was first released in the game, as he had that ability to basically just get through. He had that ability to change into different forms depending on how many meat orbs or perfects that you guys had hit. So that I really, really like. I really, really like that. The downside to verse units that I find is they are way ahead of their time. The fact that they are a 5 times captain multiplier, and the fact that we only sort of just touched on the super type meta. Like, the super type meta has been around for a little while. I know it has been on Japan. And they're sort of still easing out of that and into this verse mechanic meta. But they did not need to make them 5 times captains. Like, I feel like if they were 4.5 times captains, or if they were even like 4.25, and then when you use their verse mechanic they become 5 times captains, everyone would still rave on about them. But the fact that they are just a built-in flat rate 5 times captain multiplier, no questions asked, is insanely strong. And that's what I find the strongest thing about these units are. Super typings, you need to abide by a condition to get that 5 times, for example. So, like, let's take Smoker, for example. You need to hit perfects. Let's take Halloween Shanks. You have to. It depends on the tap timing before. If we take Boa, it depends on your healing. If we take Luffy, you have to have a strength or recovery orb. These guys, Big Mom Kaido and Akainu versus Ace, who we're going to touch on in a second, they literally just give you a 5 times captain multiplier all the time. Now, that is great. Excellent. Super strong, big numbers. We love to see it. But what I find with these types of units is it's just not needed for such a high power creep, because my argument now is, well, what is going to be coming in the future that we need these crazy ass units for? So that's my opinions on verse units. Again, I love verse units. I think they're great, but I think everyone sort of goes AWOL over them, and rightly they should, because they are incredibly strong units. So the next unit we're going to talk about is Akainu vs Ace, the newest unit to be dropping on Japan. And it's very, very exciting, because when the verse mechanic came out, they just sort of did nothing with it, and now we can have a look and sort of see what they're diving into. Now, the choice of Ace versus Akainu is very odd to me. I mean, they did the characters justice, but you know, it is what it is. Now, before I continue, a huge shout out to my my Discord for the information. And obviously, huge shout out to OPTC database. I'll link both of them in the description. If you do want to come join the Discord, feel free to head on over. And obviously, as always, huge shout out to the Treasure Cruise database for images provided and information provided as well. So, the Akainu vs Ace Legend is a strength quick unit that Akainu being the quick, and then Ace being the strength. It does have a batch with them as well. We're not going to touch on the batch today. This video is built around verse units, so we're going to stick to that. So Akainu's captain ability boosts the attack of driven and powerhouse characters by 5 times, and their HP by 1.5. Again, another 5 times multiplier. He's then going to increase the rate of quick orbs, and whenever you take damage from an enemy, he's going to inflict burn for 4 turns, ignoring debuff immunity. So the burn damage does 100 times typeless damage at the end of turn. So, new mechanic, giving the enemy burn, very similar to V2 Kaido, actually, giving the extra damage debuff. So, the special of Akainu is going to deal 400 times his attack in typeless damage to one enemy. He's going to change all slots, including block to quick, and for 2 turns, boosts orbs of driven and powerhouse characters by 2.5. Orb manipulation with an orb boost, very, very strong. He's then going to lock the chain multiplier depending on how many quick slots you've consumed throughout the run. So 0 to 7, he's a 3 times chain lock. 8 to 14, he's 3.25, and 15 plus, he's a 3.5 times, which is very, very good. Excellent chain locking ability. Nothing really to complain about there. Now, where is Ace? Where's Ace's captain ability? What? Hold up. Why have we only got Akainu, but we don't have Ace's captain ability here? Discord, what's going on? Where is our boy Ace? Alright, well, here's Ace here. It's just under Josu, apparently. So, Ace's captain ability, He's going to boost Shooter and Free Spirit characters by 5 times and their HP by 1.3. Again, like, just amazing, amazing captain ability. 5 times to Free Spirit and Shooters. Now, I do like that they've given justice to Shooters and Driven. Obviously, they needed the help. And the way they've done that is they've just slapped the Free Spirit and Powerhouse, which are arguably 2 of the best classes in the entire game, on top of that as well. So, I do really like that. It does help those classes out by not directly just giving them crazy buffs, but by giving them characters that can utilize the Shooters and other characters as well. So obviously Ace and Akainu do 2 very different things, and you can't really run them together. Like, it doesn't really work, but it is kind of cool that they've just given them 4 classes onto 2 units. So very, very cool. He also makes Strength, Dex, and Quick Slots matching, which is excellent, and then he recovers 10 turns of Special Reverse. Now, to me, Ace is way better of the 2. With Big Mom Kaido, you can kind of argue that they're both just as good as each other. But to me, Ace is way better than Akainu. Like, way better than Akainu. Just looking at his captain ability. Just because utility and captain abilities is so strong. But I guess we'll have to wait and see how that burn mechanic, like, works in-game before we can make that judgment. But on paper, to me, I feel like Ace is the better unit. He deals 200 times attack in non-type damage to all enemies, so that's another difference. He does 200 times to all enemies instead of 400 times to one enemy. He's then going to change the crew's slots to their own type and then boost their slot effects by 2.5. Again, orb manipulation with matching with a orb boost is just incredibly strong. Unfortunately, though, Ace doesn't go through block orbs, which is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. And then if the captain's orb is a strength when the special if the captain's orb is strength when the special is launched, he sets the base chain multiplier to 2.5 and then caps at 35. That is exactly the same as V3 Law, and you guys know how strong that ability is. So for their verse mechanic, they both have the same, they both have the same verse condition, and that's basically just consume 12 orbs that are strength, dex, or quick. Very straightforward, very, very easy to do. Actually, I think Akainu's now is actually just quick orbs, but we'll double check that. Basically, what happens is when you use their verse ability, they're going to burn all enemies for 2 turns. So, you can basically say goodbye to end of turn damage. We don't need that anymore with this unit, because we now have burn damage, which is technically end of turn damage, but it's a debuff on the enemy, not a buff on ourselves. They're going to double the damage dealt to burn enemies for 2 turns, so it's a conditional boost very similar to Mihawk and Perona. They are the only ones that can do this so far. And then changes block, bomb, TND, recovery, G-orbs into their own and their own orb into strength. So basically you can see how this works with Ace. You use his verse ability, get the strength orb on your captain, then use the special to get a full board of orbs and a chain lock. He's really, really good. Like, he's very, very strong. It's about time they gave Ace, like, some very good, like, justice. Because, I mean, Akainu's had lots and lots of justice, but Ace has had, he has, but I feel like it's been a while. The versatility for Akainu is very, very similar. He just needs to consume 12 orbs that are strength, dex, and quick as well. And then he applies 4 turns of burn to the enemy, multiplies damage dealt to enemies inflicted with burn by 1.75, so it's the same as Ace, but it's a little bit lower. Then makes quick slots beneficial to all driven and powerhouse units for 4 turns. That is actually really, really good, because he gives, like, he makes it easier to land on quick orbs, and then his special changes all slots into quick orbs. You can see how Akainu, you want to use his special and then use the verse ability, so that way you can get the chain lock and get the orb boost through the block orbs as well. So both specials and verse abilities are very, very good. This can also be used as utility, where you get beneficial orbs to negate the effect of moving into the next turn, where they actually give you the removal. Now, because of this information, I don't have the information on their their limit break abilities, but we can see that they have Provoked or Enraged. They have Barrier Pen, which is insane. Barrier Pen's probably one of the best limit break abilities in the game with the new update, and obviously Slot Bind is incredible as well. I don't know how big that'll be, I guess like 10 turns max. If it's completely, that's insane, but like, yeah, these guys are already insanely enough, and arguably these 2 units here are the strongest units that are going around on both versions of the game at the moment. So let me know what you guys think about verse units in the comment section below. I do really, really like verse units. Unfortunately, I do think they're a little bit ahead of their time. That may be a little bit controversial, but at the same time, they are good for the game. It does open up a lot of different avenues for a lot of different units. But like I said, let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'd love to read them down there in the comment section below. And if you guys enjoy these types of videos, while you're down there, smash that like button as well. And let me know if you do want to see more of this from me moving forward. But most importantly, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Lights!